Lofsky first discovered Laurier in Vienna, long before Hollywood knew his name. She recognized something in him that others did not see at the time. He was talented, emotional, and full of creative potential, but he lacked direction. Lofsky believed in him completely. She coached him, guided him, and helped shape him into the performer the world would later admire. Her influence was not casual or distant. She was deeply involved in his artistic growth, helping him refine his voice, his acting style, and the emotional depth that would later become his signature on screen. Their relationship gained even more meaning when Laurier began struggling with addiction. Many people in Hollywood judged him harshly, and at a time when careers could be destroyed quickly. Addiction was seen not only as a personal issue, but as a professional downfall. Many spouses in the film industry would have walked away. Hollywood valued image above all else, and being tied to someone battling personal demons could ruin reputations. But Lofsky was not like most. She brought the same sense of discipline, focus, and strength to supporting Laurier as she had brought to guiding his talent. She negotiated contracts, managed his finances, and stepped in when his addiction threatened to destroy his work, and future directors and producers who worked with them often commented on how important she was to his survival. One person in the industry even remarked that while she looked stern and serious, without her, Laurier might not have survived at all. Their marriage was not formed to impress fans or to create a glamorous public image. It was built out of genuine support, shared history, and mutual dedication. Even though their romantic relationship eventually ended, they never truly separated emotionally. Lofsky continued to appear in some of his films in smaller roles and remained someone he trusted professionally and personally. Their partnership demonstrated that love and loyalty in Hollywood could sometimes take a different form, one based on intellectual connection, practical support, and emotional strength rather than physical appearance or public approval. George T. Scott's story also reveals a relationship shaped by mutual respect rather than Hollywood beauty standards. Scott was one of America's most admired actors, known for his intense presence and powerful performances. He did not look like the typical leading man that Hollywood celebrated. He once joked that his face looked like a clenched fist, marked with strong features, a broken nose, and a permanent expression of serious concentration. But his talent was undeniable. He did not rise to fame because of how he looked, but because of his ability to command a scene with emotional depth and strength. Colleen DeWurst, the woman who shared his life through marriage and divorce and marriage again, was similar in many ways. She had a commanding stage presence, a striking voice, and a sense of confidence that drew audiences in. Critics praised her acting, but often commented on how different she appeared from Hollywood's beauty expectations. She was tall, strong-featured, and uninterested in presenting herself as glamorous. She belonged to the world of theater, where character and expression mattered more than appearance. What made the relationship between Scott and DeWurst special was that neither one tried to change for Hollywood. They did not hire stylists to make themselves look more glamorous. They did not chase the appearance-based image that so many other actors tried to maintain. They existed in their own world, defined by creativity, intensity, and connection. Their relationship was passionate, sometimes volatile, full of arguments and reconciliations, breakups and reunions. They married in 1960, divorced in 1965, remarried in 1967, and divorced once more in 1972. Their personal life resembled the dramatic performances they brought to the stage, fiery, emotional, and unforgettable. Their connection was less about romance and more about shared artistry. They understood each other deeply, sometimes too deeply, which made their relationship intense and difficult. But it also made it meaningful. When DeWurst once commented that they both disliked the artificial, pretty culture of Hollywood, she was expressing how the two of them lived outside the industry's expectations. They valued talent and emotional truth, not surface-level beauty. Mickey Rooney's life tells a different story, one shaped by the rise and fall of fame. Rooney began as one of Hollywood's most popular child stars, known for his charismatic energy and expressive performances. When he was young and famous, he married Ava Gardner, one of the most legendary beauties of the era. Their marriage was passionate but brief. As years passed, Rooney's stardom faded. He took smaller and less glamorous roles, and the Hollywood world that once adored him gradually moved on. When Rooney later married Jan Chamberlain, the public immediately compared her to his earlier partners, especially to Gardner. Tabloids and gossip columnists made unkind remarks, focusing more on physical appearances than on the reality of their relationship. What they failed to understand was how much Rooney had changed over the years and how different his needs were later in life. Chamberlain was not someone he married for image or status. She was someone who supported him, understood him, and accepted him during a time when he was no longer the center of attention. Their marriage lasted for decades, longer than any of his previous ones, showing that deep companionship mattered more than appearances or fame. Spencer. Tracy's marriage to Louise Treadwell reveals the power of silence and invisibility in Hollywood. While the world remembers Tracy's long romantic partnership with Katharine Hepburn, few recognize the role of Treadwell, the wife he never divorced. She lived outside the spotlight, partly by choice and partly because the studio system wanted to maintain Tracy's image as a desirable leading man. Treadwell was described quietly, without glamour or elegance, and she was partially deaf. These qualities made Hollywood keep her hidden to preserve Tracy's public image. When their son was born deaf, Treadwell dedicated her life to supporting and advocating for deaf children. She built schools, worked with educators, and created programs that helped countless families. Tracy funded her work even while living apart from her. Their relationship was complicated, emotionally distant at times, but built on history and shared responsibility. She did not fit Hollywood's glamorous narrative, but she played a real and meaningful role in Tracy's life, even when the world believed in the romantic legend of Tracy and Hepburn. Treadwell remained quietly present, the foundation beneath the myth. All these relationships reveal a deeper truth about Hollywood. The film industry sells beauty, glamour, romance, and perfect images. But real life does not look like a movie poster. Real relationships are shaped by history, loyalty, support, emotional understanding, and sometimes survival. The world often celebrates the glamorous couples while ignoring the quiet and meaningful ones that exist behind the scenes. These marriages show that love in Hollywood is not simply about appearances. Sometimes people choose partners who understand them deeply, who support them emotionally, who help them survive personal struggles, or who allow them to be themselves without judgment. These relationships may not fit the beauty standards of magazines or red carpet events, but they contain a level of understanding and loyalty that lasts longer than fame or physical attractiveness. In the end, Hollywood may value beauty, but human beings value connection. And the most lasting relationships are built not on how people look, but on how they make each other feel. Jeff Goldblum is often remembered for his charming personality, his sense of humor, and the relaxed confidence he carries both on and off screen. He became known as someone who didn't chase the usual Hollywood expectations, even when it came to love. When he married Emily Livingston, a former gymnast, many people expected her to look and behave like the typical glamorous celebrity wife seen at red carpet events. But Emily was different in a refreshing way. She focused on living a healthy lifestyle, staying active, working on her own projects, and keeping her life balanced. She did not change herself to fit Hollywood's idea of beauty or public attention. Some people online made unnecessary comments, comparing her to others or judging her appearance. But Jeff never paid attention to that noise. He said she was the center of his happiness, the person who made him feel supported and understood. To him, love was about emotional comfort and trust, not the unrealistic standards strangers try to push on the internet. Mark Anthony and Nadia Ferreira also faced rumors and gossip about their relationship. Some people believed they were together because of fame, wealth, or publicity. They were constantly watched by the public, and every move they made was judged or misinterpreted. But despite all the criticism, the two of them continued to show affection, respect, and appreciation for each other. They did not allow outsiders to shape their narrative. They continued living their life together, proving that understanding, companionship, and emotional connection were far more important than what others thought. Love is personal, and only the people inside the relationship truly know what they feel for one another. Kelsey Grammer and Wendy Price experienced a similar situation. People questioned their relationship, wondering why Kelsey chose someone who didn't fit the stereotypical Hollywood image. But the truth was simple and deeply human. Wendy stood by him during his hardest moments. She became a source of emotional support and comfort, something far more valuable than physical appearance could ever provide. A partner who listens, stands beside you in difficult times, and offers emotional security holds a deeper place in your life than someone who looks good for photographs or public attention. Kelsey found in Wendy someone who understood his struggles and gave him peace. And that meant more than meeting society's expectations. Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes also tell a story many people fail to understand. Both were admired actors, especially Ryan, who was celebrated for his emotional roles and calm personality. When they started a relationship, many fans imagined Eva would continue living like a movie star in the public eye. But instead, Eva made a different choice. She stepped away from acting to focus on her children and her personal life. Her decision surprised many, and some people even criticized her for leaving a successful career behind. But Eva did not make her choices for fans or media approval. She chose to prioritize being present for her family and creating a private life without cameras. It showed that love sometimes means giving up attention and returning to what truly matters: family, growth, and peace. She proved that personal happiness is more meaningful than public applause. One of the most talked about couples in recent years is Keanu Reeves and Alexandra. Keanu is widely admired not just because of his acting career, but because of his kindness, humility, and down-to-earth personality. He has always carried himself with gentleness and sincerity, which made people feel connected to him. So, when Keanu appeared publicly with Alexandra, he assumed he would be with someone who matched Hollywood's usual glamorous standards. But Alexandra was different. She was a respected artist, known for her intelligence, creativity, and thoughtful presence. She had her own identity, her own achievements, and her own way of being. However, instead of appreciating her authenticity, some people online criticized her just because she did not fit the unrealistic beauty standards Hollywood constantly promotes. These comments were unfair, superficial, and rooted in shallow expectations. Yet Keanu did not waver. He openly showed admiration for Alexandra and supported her with warmth and dignity. Their relationship became a symbol of emotional maturity in an industry that often prioritizes youth, and appearance over character and substance. All of these examples reveal something important about love, especially in a world where fame creates distance between public image and personal reality. Being famous does not protect anyone from loneliness or emotional struggles. Celebrities, just like everyone else, want to feel understood, appreciated, and supported. They face heartbreak, disappointment, and insecurity the same way ordinary people do. Their relationships are not perfect, and their lives are not fairy tales, no matter how glamorous they may seem from the outside. What truly matters for them, just like for everyone else, is finding a connection where they feel safe and valued. Society often forgets that these relationships involve real human beings. Many people treat celebrity relationships like entertainment, something to gossip about or judge without thinking about how it affects the individuals involved. But love is not a movie scene or a magazine cover. It is a quiet and deeply personal experience. Some of the partners mentioned may not look like Hollywood models, but they have qualities that last much longer than physical beauty. They have kindness, loyalty, patience, emotional strength, and compassion. These are the traits that hold a relationship together when life becomes difficult. Physical beauty inevitably changes with time. Fame comes and goes. Public attention is not stable. But the ability to care for someone, to stay by their side, to offer emotional support, and to truly know them on a deeper level is something far more rare and valuable. When a person finds someone who brings peace into their life instead of pressure, who listens without judgment, who stands beside them without conditions, that is where real love begins and grows. Hollywood teaches us one powerful lesson again and again: the appearance of a relationship does not reveal its reality. People on the outside might assume, judge, comment, or criticize, but they are unaware of the private moments where real love is built. The world might be loud, opinionated, and often unkind, but love grows quietly, in shared moments, sincerity, and understanding. These relationships show that love does not always look glamorous. Sometimes it is simple, sometimes it is quiet, sometimes it is unexpected. But the most meaningful love is the one that makes you feel understood, safe, and at home. And often, the person who truly touches your heart is not the one the world expects, but the one who sees your soul.